According to Jaguar, to fix this car, to do everything that needs doing to it, the cost quoted was for £10,730. Hello everybody and welcome. I'm sure that you've noticed what incredible value luxury cars of a certain age are. The reason for that, most people say, is that if you buy one of these cheap luxury cars, they will subsequently bankrupt you with costs to fix everything that's wrong with them, so that you just can't have your cake and eat it. Well, today we're going to find out if that is true or not, because I bought this Jaguar XK for just £6,800. And I'm going to be taking it to a Jaguar main dealer to find out everything that's wrong with it and, importantly, how much it's going to cost to fix it all. Now these used to retail for between £70,000 to £80,000 depending on the year of the car. Having paid less than a tenth of that, I am fully expecting this to have some issues, and indeed I have already found a couple myself. Firstly, the cruise control. It worked perfectly on the way back when I purchased the car, and ever since then it has resolutely refused to come on. Apart from now, when it's obviously decided to start working. Like, literally hasn't been working for 2 weeks. I put it on now, absolutely fine. Okay, correction, the cruise is fine. There is one other thing, the infotainment system itself. Sometimes you switch on the car and it just freezes on the Jaguar screen, and you have to get out, switch off, walk away from the car so it doesn't sort of find the key, then come back, start it up, and it goes away. It's only once in every 10 times, but it's a bit annoying. But the thing that's really been challenging me is a water leak in the boot. I had a look at what was going on, and I surmised that most of the water was coming from this side of the car. When I took this panel off though, there were some weird tracks from this top part here. Thought I'd explore further, and I saw that right at the top there's two aluminium panels that join and are riveted together, and it looks like there's a little pocket there. And having looked further, I'm pretty convinced that the water is coming from between those two panels. Okay, the little gap between the body panels has now been filled. Hopefully that will do it. Has it worked? Of course, none of that worked, so I had another go. I removed all the trim around the top of the boot. I sealed where the wire grommets come out. I also looked for all the other joins between the various panels and around the hinges for the boot, because I've read online that that's also where they can take in water. There's so much that collects in there that I'm reluctant to believe that anything I've done so far has done the trick. But in the meantime, we're now heading to the Jag dealer, and we're going to cut to, when that is all well and done, to the report of what they think is wrong with this. I have the results here, but what do they say? Well, when I first sat down with their advisor, I think there was a bit of a shock. The reason is that, according to Jaguar, to fix this car, to do everything that needs doing to it, the cost quoted was for £10,730. Now, considering I only paid £6,800 for it, that's a bit extreme. But let's just go into more detail. So there's three sections here. There is a red section, which is immediate attention, amber, something you can do in the near future, and then green, all the good stuff. Let's start with the really bad stuff. On the rear suspension, they mentioned that the offside tie rod gaiters are split. So that needs replacing, and that's £242. I agree, that's definitely something that needs doing, and I will do it at some point in the near future. There's actually no play in it, but there will be, because once they split, essentially dirt gets in and it gets loose quite quickly, so that will need doing. They mentioned the screen wash strength is a bit low, and weirdly that the fluid smells quite eggy. They think it's maybe a blocked filter. That's £216, which is drain and refill system, I guess clear the filter, I don't know. that's something I'm probably going to try and do myself. And then the spare tyre expired on the 1st of November of this year, and that's quoted at £52. Not too worried about that, to be quite honest. Now, the next thing in the amber section is the aerial mast is seized, and that is true. The aerial doesn't go up and down all the way. I can still get radio reception. I'm not really too worried about that. May have a look at it myself, because for that, they would want £509. I assume, actually, I might be able to get a whole replacement unit on eBay, not through Jaguar, much cheaper than that. The number plate is damaged. They want £15 for that. It's not really, it's only got a little crack in it. But anyway, fair enough, £15 for a new number plate. Now, this is a bit of a kicker, this one, because they pointed out that the headlights are foggy, which I had also noticed, and I'd planned at some point on polishing them out. But for them, the solution to this is to replace both front lights. And the quoted cost for this is £4,355, which is just crazy. I'm definitely going to sort that out in a different way, but that doesn't seem like the right way to go for something like this. Then one of the rear lights on the number plate, it's got condensation. It is working, but they've quoted £51 to replace that. The exhaust rear heat shield apparently is missing. I don't know where it's, I think it just goes under the boot, so the boot's probably going to get slightly warmer. I'll look into that, but for that they wanted £144. The other thing is that one of the rear boxes, the exhaust box, one of the tips is rattling. So it needs really, well, it needs fixing up somehow, possibly welding. But for that, of course, they have quoted £1,413 because they would just replace the whole exhaust. So already things are starting to look a bit rosier, because these are big chunks of money off that £10,000 I don't really need to spend. The next big thing that they bring up is that the rear subframe is corroded. Now, I'd seen it myself as well, and I'm pretty sure that that is really just surface corrosion. So what it needs is a bit of treatment, putting something on there to stop it getting worse, which again is something I'm going to do. They have, of course, quoted to have the whole subframe replaced at £2,611. And the other two things, which was a bit of a surprise, is that both the near side alloy wheels have a little buckle on the inside. Now, the car doesn't vibrate when I'm driving. It holds air in the tyres, and it's not a big buckle, so I don't really think that that's something, again, that needs doing. Could get straightened out if I wanted to when I have them refurbed, if I have them refurbed, but doesn't seem like that's something that really needs doing. So when you look at this list overall, because they wanted $815 per wheel to do that, and then there's a lot of good stuff here, because the front brakes are fine, all the green stuff, front brakes are fine, the oil level's fine, the suspension, front suspension is fine, the rest of the rear suspension is fine, there's no oil leaks, drive shafts, the tyres are okay, which we knew already, but also the brake fluid condition is good, the coolant condition is good, so there's lots of good stuff here that is working. And really, when you look at this, the only thing that I'm probably gonna have to take it somewhere to do is that offside tie rod, and that's not gonna be that expensive. I've seen them I've seen pattern parts on eBay for £30. I'd probably get a genuine item or a good quality item, say £50–60. Surely it wouldn't be more than an hour's labour to do that. Overall, I am absolutely delighted. I was expecting it to be so much worse. It's brilliant, really. The main thing that needs doing sooner rather than later is that tie rod. Apart from that, it really is pretty good. I'm astonished, to be quite honest. This is a good car, and I paid very little for it. There is this one question of the water leaking in the boot. I have done more things to try and fix it, and I haven't been able to as yet. So that is an ongoing potential issue. Do keep an eye out, do please subscribe, because I've got some interesting stuff planned for this. I'm going to be comparing it to newer sort of cars in this category that cost maybe 10–15 times as much. So we're going to do some road tests on those, but also comparing it to other cars of a similar vintage and similar price. And of course, got to find out if I can fix this leak in the boot and the other little issues that abound. Thank you so much for watching. Really look forward to seeing you for the next video.